1975. A Kodak engineer built something revolutionary. A device that could capture digital images. No film, no printing, just instant photos. But at the time, this wasn't seen as the future. It was seen as a problem, and instead of changing the world, Kodak made a decision that would later define its downfall. They hid it away, and that single decision would eventually destroy the company that defined photography for nearly a century. For most of the 20th century, Kodak wasn't just a company. It was photography itself. If you took a picture anywhere in the world, there was a high chance it would pass through Kodak film. Weddings, birthdays, travel, memories, everything was Kodak. At its peak, Kodak controlled over 80% of film sales in the United States, and globally, it was even more dominant. Photography wasn't just a product for Kodak. It was a system. Every photo needed film, every film needed development, and every development meant profit. Kodak wasn't just selling cameras or film. It was selling the entire experience of memory creation, and for decades, that system worked perfectly. But inside the company, something was quietly changing. In 1975, a Kodak engineer named Steve Sasson created something completely new. It was the first digital camera. It was not beautiful. It was not small. It was not fast. In fact, it was large, once slow, and extremely low quality by today's standards. But it worked. It captured images electronically, without using film at all. And when he showed it to Kodak executives, the reaction was not what he expected. There was no excitement, no celebration. Instead, there was silence, and then fear, because they immediately understood what this meant. If photography became digital, Kodak's entire business model would collapse. Everything they had built, every factory, every system, every source of profit, depended on film. So the company made a decision, not to lead the future, but to protect the present. The invention was not developed, it was not scaled, it was not released to the world, it was quietly buried inside the company. But while Kodak was protecting its past, the rest of the world was moving forward. Digital technology did not stop. It improved, slowly at first, then rapidly. Other companies began experimenting, especially in Japan, where competitors started building better and more efficient digital cameras. And then, something even more powerful arrived: smartphones. Suddenly, photography no longer required a separate device. No film, no waiting, no cost per photo, just instant capture and instant sharing. A camera was now in every pocket, everywhere, all the time. And this changed everything. Kodak tried to adapt, but it was too late. Its entire structure was built around film, factories designed for chemicals, supply chains built for physical products, revenue models based on developing photos. Everything depended on a world that no longer existed. And while Kodak struggled to transform itself, the world moved on completely. By 2012, the company that once ruled photography filed for bankruptcy. But here is the real lesson behind Kodak's story. Kodak did not fail because it lacked innovation. In fact, it invented the future itself. It failed because it could not let go of the past. The very thing that made Kodak powerful became the reason it collapsed. And that is the most dangerous position a company can be in, when success becomes more important than survival. Because sometimes, the biggest risk in business is not failure, it is refusing to change. Kodak's story is not just about photography. It is about every company, every industry, every decision maker, because the same question still exists today. How many companies are protecting their present while their future is being built somewhere else? Subscribe for more big stories in 5 minutes.